I'm joined today by the 2025 Hyrox World Champion, Tim Wenisch. Tim, welcome to the show.
Hey John, thank you for the invitation.
So let's dive straight into the race. You guys started at an absolutely blistering pace. From what I can tell, it was around 3:10 minutes per kilometer or just under 5 minutes per mile pace. What was your strategy going into that first run?
I talked with a lot of friends and they also asked me what is my strategy. So my strategy from the begin was just to run as hard as possible because I knew that my running shape, I would say, what was the best shape what I've ever had in my career, and I knew, okay, when I can hold my own pace, the other racers or the other athletes needs to overpace a little bit from the start. So that was my strategy, and yeah, so went hard out for the 1.2 kilometers. That the other needs to push a little bit too hard for me, I hope. And yeah, so that was my goal in the first 4 laps.
And were you surprised at just how fast that initial pace was? Or was that something you had prepared for?
My own pace, like I knew, okay, that was fast. I was a little bit surprised when James Kelly passed me because I knew, okay, when he passed me, that's like a 3 minute per K pace. And I knew, okay, that's too fast for me. So he can go out harder when he wants. But I knew from that point when he passed me, okay, I can't hold his pace. So I just hold my own pace and then let's see what happens. But I think James Kelly also slowed down a little bit after the second or third lap. So we went all, I think we were a group of fourth and we went all on the same distance between us and to the ski erg.
Yeah. There was a group of four going into the ski erg. I think you were maybe 1 or 2 seconds behind, but you were right with that initial group. So looking back at the total statistics, your total running time was 29 minutes and 6 seconds. You completely dominated the running. You were 50 seconds faster than anyone else. Were you
Good.
surprised at just how dominant you were with the running?
Yeah, honestly, a little bit surprised because I thought that the other runners or the other athletes will also run that pace. But at the end, I knew I had a really, really good running shape. My training was on point the last 10 weeks after Glasgow, and my training results were the best I've ever had, especially in running workouts with 10 by 1K with 30 seconds rest, something like that. I never run that fast in the past, so I knew, okay, I don't think that that other athletes will also have that running shape. So yeah, I was really, really confident, but that I were 50 seconds faster than all other athletes, I didn't thought that this could happen.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely incredible to watch. And it wasn't just the running. You also did well on a number of the other stations. I think your ergs in particular were excellent. You were second place on the ski erg, just a couple of seconds behind Hunter. And then you had the first place rowing time as well. So
Yeah.
what has enabled you to do so well on the ergs as well?
So good. Like on the ski rig, also in the past, I was really good. But in the 10 weeks prep before the Worlds, I trained a lot on the ergs. So I think one key opponents what changed my performance were that I do similar training system than in the running. So I also do sprints, I also do threshold work and base work. So I came at least on 40 kilometers on the ergs, or 40 under 50 kilometers. So a lot of work. I reduce a little bit of my running volume, so that helps me that I can help that I could hold a good running intensity, but I had a high volume for my aerobic capacity. And yes, so I did different style of workout types on the ergs, and that helps me a lot to improve the pace.
Okay, amazing. And I definitely want to go more into that training. It sounds like that last 10 weeks prior to Worlds was a phenomenal block for you. A couple more questions about the race though. So you passed Hunter on the run going into the row. So that was about halfway through the race. What was going through your mind at that point?
So, from the beginning of the race, when I was like 20 seconds behind Hunter since the slap push, I knew, okay, when he got some problems, then it's in the second half, especially after the burpees, because I think, yeah, He's a big guy, so he need a lot of oxygen during the burpees. So when I saw after the burpees that he slowed down in the run, then I knew, okay, I can catch him. And then it was my time to pass him after the burpees and to go into the row. And yeah, that's always a good feeling when you sitting beside your opponent and you're rowing like 1 or 2 seconds faster per 500 than him. Then it gives you a big confidence boost.
Did you feel like the race was won at that point?
No, because I knew that my wallballs performance is like, it's okay, but not the best. And I knew also that Hunter did a lot of wallballs and really good wallballs. So I knew, okay, he could be faster than me. So honestly, which point was for me the most important thing during the race when I knew, okay, I can win this, was after the farmer's carry. Because I heard through the microphone of Faisal that Hunter drops and drop again the kettlebells. And then I knew, okay, that could be like 15 until 20 seconds gap. And when I perform well on the lunges and on the last run, then it could be far enough that I can have controlled wall balls, that it should be enough for.
Yeah, 100%. And you were pretty much extending your lead all the way from the row onwards. It was another 7 seconds on the row, 6 seconds on the next run, and those numbers just continued on and on up until the wall balls. And at what point did you really hit your max intensity? When do you think you first were at a 10 RPE during the race? Was it right at the wall balls, or were you hitting that true red line earlier?
I need to say that I enjoyed the race very much because like my shape was so good at this day, so I had a peak performance on this day. So honestly, I don't think that I was on a RPE 10 of 10.
Okay.
So, and that keeps me very motivated for the upcoming season, because I think when I will change little things in my training and going a little bit, I need to improve some stations. I can go much harder during the race, especially on the runs, because it was a little bit too relaxed at the end. Because when everyone sees my finish line, when I crossed the finish line, I wasn't that much exhausted than in other races. So I think that was the most enjoyable race of the whole season. So it was all the way RPE from 8.5 until 9 of 10.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying you cross the finish line, you're world champion, you're not that exhausted, and you feel like you could have run quite a bit faster on the day. Should the other competitors just be absolutely terrified of you next season, Tim?
Yes, of course. So it's funny because I'm much more motivated after the win of the World Championship than ever before, because I don't want to give that title away, or I don't want to experience like a second place again. So yeah, that gives me a big motivation boost for the next season. Today we have Monday. After 2 weeks of much more enjoying time and holiday, we go back to normal training. Not that specific, but normal off season. I'm motivated and I'm looking forward to the upcoming season.
Okay. And have you given some thought to how low you think you can go in terms of the time that you can run a Hyrox race?
So honestly, I am 100% sure that the world record will be broken next year, because I don't think that Chicago was that fast course for the elite setup in comparison like to Glasgow or something like that. When you see the other times or the times of the women race. So I think next year will be broke the 53-minute mark. And I think the Hyrox world always discuss, okay, it's a sub 50 possible in a single pro. And I think when you train consistency from now on the next few years, it is possible, maybe in 4 or 5 years. But I think, that the sport is very young, and when you keep the training, when you keep the motivation, it's possible to go sub 50. But next year, hopefully sub 53.
It's unbelievable. I can't wait to see those times being broken.
Yeah.
So let's go back into some of your training then. So you mentioned that the past 10 weeks prior to World Championships went just about perfect. What were some of the key features of that 10-week period? Was there a specific focus that you had going into those last 10 weeks?
I think the key things were that I trained super consistent. So I trained after the method of high days and low days, and that works very well for me. So I had one really hard day with 2 hard sessions and one more low day, and that works very well because you are much more motivated